getting a tune in. Welcome to Blue Falcon TCG. It's a meta recap. We're a little late to the show because we got PQs coming up in like 3 days now. So we're going to do last week's and we're going to do next week still. But let's get into it. It is starting to trickle up and we're starting to see, Han 1 greens, Han 2 ECLs, Han 2 blue forces come back to the format. Mother Talzin is starting to creep its way back up. Data Vault Boba, absolute annoying, just control, at least it's non-green villainy. Sabine seemed to be coming back through the format. Another surprising and exciting is Garsax and ECL. Loving that. And then we got a standard trickle downs. Sabine Nabat Village, droids be swinging big and swinging hard. Let's go ahead and see. Let's see the graph. Let's see the chart so you guys can kind of see what I'm seeing on this side of things. Okay. Boom. Right. As you can see right here, Han Solo 1 just is the biggest representation if you exclude the one-off. So we got our other tab representing 19% of the format actually just being a variance decks, whatever. Just one-offs and just kind of like cool things like that. Han Solo's ECL just seems to be like the majority. It's just instead of I guess it's just Han format. Whatever Han you're playing, it's Han. And we see it again. Quinlin Voss is actually coming back into the format. And it's not bad. We got 3 top 8 finishes for Quinlin. One coming in second place, which kind of surprising. The deck is pretty sick. I mean, it's just Quinlin without Force Throw. I personally didn't think that it was going to fall off this hard because of Force Throw. I mean, Cad Bane is the better ping deck in general, just because it requires you to have the same cost or less, whatever, right? So you can't dodge the Cad, but you can definitely dodge the Quinlin by playing off curve. So it's kind of cool that it came back. We got 3 people across 3 different PQs all playing it very similar decks coming into the top 8. Still, we're having Emperor Palpatine have the best conversion into the top 8 with, I think, still under 10 people playing Yellow Palp over the weekend, and still making 2 into the top 8 is pretty fantastic. Another fun deck is Admiral Ackbar making its way consistently into the top 8 over every weekend now, which is great. Great for this yellow-green heroism that isn't Han Solo. So we're never gonna be sad about that, and it's just good. Cad Bane didn't do as well this weekend as expected, especially with the amount of Han 2s present. So we don't know. The format is starting to shape. It seems it's now everybody's starting to figure it out. Han 1 really taking the cake, closely followed by Han 2 variants. Like Han 2 running around, I think, almost 15-16% of the format, which is pretty insane. So top performers overall, I mean, it's Han Green. Han 1 Green is overall the best deck in the format. That is the deck to beat. So when you're looking at your sideboard or what strategy you will be taking to your next event, you can look towards Han 1 more than likely being the biggest representation of your top 8. Like, that's kind of to be expected. It's a deck to beat right now. Han 2 ECLs, it's great. It saw a lot last week and the weekend before. It's starting to rise up. But then Blue Force Han coming back in as well. Really solid. And then Red Force Talzin, great. We're seeing some good stuff again. And it's awesome. So good conversion rate overall, but Han 1 Green is a deck to beat from this weekend. So maybe moving forward, we've seen a consistent increase of Han 1 Greens making their way into the top cut, let alone more people are playing it as well. All right. Oh, as for the winners, again, the trend is Han 1 Green winning. So 20% of the winners is Han 1. And it's expected when you have that much representation. You're going to get there. We have Han 1 Blue Force also coming up into it. Han 2, 1 blue, 1 data vault. Just, and then a Han 2 ECL taking it in. So the deck to beat, it's a Han format. Welcome to the Han meta. Han 1, 2, 3, you name it, it's the Han meta. Cool, probably the coolest list that is coming out of here is going to be your Bosk ECL from this last weekend's events. Just because it's different. Mother Talisman Legend of like Force is just the same as it was minus Force throws. Probably. But Bosk is the coolest deck list to make it out of this weekend's event. There was a Darth Revan that made top 8, which we might cover eventually because it's Revan. It's my favorite dude. But let's go ahead and jump into some deck lists. All right, first up is the Bosk ECL. Kinda similar to the Double Red Bosk, and very different to what we're seeing as Bosk Blue, which would be considered the standard Bosk deck. That blue villainy control shenanigans that makes Bosk so obnoxious. Constant heal and really late game value. Just honestly, just seems like really low to the ground value, aggressive, real small, early 1-cost drops to just put a lot of pressure wide, utilizing some decent trade ups. The Bounty Quarry, Hotshot Blast at 1, playing it out of Aspect, Arm to the Teeth playing also at 1, which is a little interesting. Thought you want to play more, price on your head. Just all in all, just good value cards. And it's not surprising on how it ended up winning the PQ. Now we're moving into the cool decks that were just sauce. We got Snoke. This is Space Snoke. It's basically Space Snoke. It's just little weenies that get big and just a lot of 1-drops, making use of automatically having a, for example, First Order TIE Fighter coming down as a 2-1, making it a 3-2. Not bad for 2. And, some small pings here and there. 1 Cad Bane, 2 Darth Vader, and 3 Maul. Interesting. I think the 2 Cad Bane would have been a little bit better than the 3rd Maul, just because of I have a lot of expectation of Han 2 still being in the format. And anytime I'm playing Cad Bane, it's either 2 or 3. I never want to have it at 1. I understand it being a sideboard, you flex it in and out, because it is not the best for certain matchups. So, maybe they expected a lot more control where the Cad Bane does fall flat. But sick deck. The King has returned. Interesting enough, like I'm very stoked to see Quinlin Voss coming back into the format. 3 top 8 finishes isn't anything to scoff at, especially coming in at 2nd. Tarkin Town is a very powerful card, and it gets stronger every time Han 2 is more prevalent in the format. Unfortunately, we're seeing a lot more Han 1s. Well, hey, Quinlin is Quinlin, making your Plo Koon essentially a 7/6 on 5, which is kind of neato. But Kira in main over the Ahsoka Tano, I think is pretty great. We're not seeing as many event heavy decks, so it's solid. We're gonna get the hand heat regardless, and having dedicated hand knowledge, I think, is what makes Quinlin Voss so strong. Now, in the future, we have the new Obi-Wan coming out. I think that has a lot of potential to be played in Quinlan. Maybe as a tech piece. Not saying it's going to be a 3-up, but it allows a little bit more utilization of the hand hate strategy as people like to, talk about. But just Quinlan Voss is straight value always. And it is a little bit of the Weenie Hut style. A lot of 2s and 1-drops. Very low to the ground. Your biggest unit is your Plo Koon. So it's fast. It's just in your face. I'm going to control the board as coolly as possible and do things. I don't care what anybody says. This is the best deck of the whole weekend. Sure, it got 6th place, but it is a just blue-black shenanigans. Just Owen's just probably putting in the most work. That's probably the best way this deck functions. Getting your Karases, and let's get a shout out to the General Grievous in here, because we ain't getting 4 lightsabers on him. But if they did, I mean, Revan's lightsaber making General Grievous a 6/6 and having grit. That's kind of nuts. Fallen Jedi, kind of similar to the Grievous, except it is a Force, so it has access to the constructed lightsaber. Pretty cool. Just what you would expect as a pure blue-black value deck. And when I first saw it that it topped, I was expecting a lot more of the control side of things into the main, I mean. But when you take a look over the sideboard, that's where the control is. You got your Shatter Points, your other Anakin, Rivals Fall, the Snoke, the Double Dooku, the Dooku, which is, set 1 had nothing but bombs for us, and that's such a great card. It's underplayed and undervalued in my opinion, but it's a takedown on legs, and that's what's great. But yeah, coolest deck list of the weekend. And that wraps up our video, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, check out the rest of the channel. It does mean the world to me. I say it every week, but I appreciate y'all's support, and it is so much fun making these videos. Especially, I've really started enjoying looking at all these cool deck lists that everybody is topping with their winning, and seeing the cool individual techs or unique plays. And if it's streamed, I go ahead and watch the stream just to kind of see how the strategies have been playing. But we do have a TCG player link. It will be posted in the description below. So if you want any of these dope singles, go ahead and check out our channel and the store. It helps us out a bunch. Y'all have a good day. Remember, we're not bad at the game. You just got to shuffle better.